counting backwards. Let me try that again. Counting backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, and... If it's Tuesday, that could mean only one thing, and it means it's time for us to talk about the craft and business of making comics. My name is Buddy Scalera, and I am the founder of Comic Book School. I'm also a comic book writer, maybe one of your favorites, probably not. But, at the end of the day, I'm the one that's on right now, so that's all you got. Actually, you get more. You actually even get Mike Fasolo, who's a TV writer. Mike, welcome to Comic Book School.
Thank you.
So, Mike, we like to cut it close tonight. Cut it kind of close.
Yes, very close. I had a crazy hectic day, and but I'm here.
It was the text that I sent when we were rolling the credits.
Okay.
Did that remind you?
I didn't even get the text.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, there it is. Yes, I did get it. Sorry.
You got
I'm a little late.
You know what? You're here for showtime, and that's the most important. Mike, we actually had someone who's already excited about the show.
Michael Giff.
Michael Giff.
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 He's not the peanut butter.
He's not the peanut butter.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, all kidding aside, he's not the peanut butter. So tonight, Mike, we have a pretty good show, unlike other shows where they're more or less mediocre. This is the fourth in a series of shows where we're talking about Comics 101, Mike. And tell you, you learned a little bit.
I did
during these
Thank you
episodes, haven't you?
To my editor, yes.
Yeah, I think I think there's nothing quite like doing the process of making comics to help you realize it's harder than it looks.
It is much harder than it looks. It's hard to visualize the pages because, at least for me, I'm used to, writing out action as it happens. This one is just little photographs of the action.
Yeah, and you can't actually draw them yourself. Like,
well, I could, but it wouldn't be very good at all.
Oh, look, Mike, we're about to satisfy somebody's... We will bring you the mediocre.
Well, that's pretty good. Usually we're poor.
Well, when people say we're poor, we exceed expectations. I'm a big fan of Red-Headed Ed, and I'm looking forward to seeing Red-Headed Ed real soon. But I don't know if Red-Headed Ed is going to be at New York Comic Con this year, Mike.
Well, Red-Headed Ed should be at New York Comic Con.
I don't know if Red-Headed Ed will be at New York Comic Con. I will be. I don't have any panels officially yet. I might be a guest on somebody's panel. But yeah, we don't have any official comic book school. But rich in content.
Thank you, Michael Giff.
Michael Giff. So Mike, from
we always have Glenn. We always have Glenn.
What I'm looking forward to? What I'm looking forward to, Mike, is my annual photo with Gatilla, where he tells me how much he hates having his photo taken, but we still take his photo anyway.
You force him into it.
That's right. You could sleep at Buddy's grave. You could sleep in the Mustang, sure.
Yeah.
And
she wants you to buy her ticket, or does she want you to buy her a ticket?
I can let her use my house, and she could sleep in the Mustang. Oh, Gatilla said he's looking forward to getting his photo taken this year.
Oh, you're getting it. You are getting it.
You are getting it. So, Mike, here we are.
Oh,
I do love that Mustang. Flattery will get you everywhere. So, Mike, tonight we're gonna continue our learning series of Comics 101. This is part 4, how to edit your comic. In case you have missed previous episodes, and very unlikely, but in the unusual case that you're watching this 100 years in the future, this is the 4th. In the first issue, we did a page breakdown, which I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, then a plot breakdown, and then, Mike, you did full script. We live demoed this, very difficult to do. So that breakdown is the pitch, previous episode, then the plot, then the script, and then this episode we are working on your revisions, which I have pulled up on the screen. Mike, this was the very first episode. You want to explain what this is while I take a little sip of water from my comic book school brand?
Well, this was you. Look at that, Birch. This was you explaining how comics are broken down page by page, and how you're supposed to get the cliffhangers on the endings of these certain pages to make people want to turn.
And what else? So a comic book, modern comic book, is 20 pages. We know that we always end we always start on a right-hand page. Then we have the splits right here. It shows the facing pages, and you used one of those facing pages splits for a massive epic shot in this story. We'll get into the details of that. Anybody? That was it. She was like,
yeah.
All right. Okay. The next episode, Mike, you want to talk a little bit about what you ended up doing?
This was I sent you an idea for a Batman story, which I believe you ridiculed mostly, and then from that, we broke it down page by page to see how it would be laid out and getting us to the certain spots that we needed to get, especially the ending, which was the big cliffhanger on page 20.
Now, Mike, we've spoken a lot about our different writing styles. I am a plotter. You are a pantser. This was a unique exercise for you where you literally had to plot every page. You want to just talk briefly about plotting?
It was plotting is rough for me because you have to find out, you have to know the story, and then you have to
know the story.
You got to know the B story, and then you have to break it down, page by page, to know exactly how it's going to be laid out to fit into those 20 pages. Whereas even when I was writing it, I was like, I'll just write and see what happens. So
there is something though that, comes out when you're doing the actual writing though. I don't think that, you're completely not doing it, because then in the next episode, when you started to script, that was last weekend, we went through it page by page. And I think what was important about the last episode is when you started to go into the scripting, into the page descriptions, what you recognized was at about the 3/4 point, in order for you to end on the cliffhanger that you wanted to end on, you were going to have to do some changes, which necessitated you going back with the notes that we did live on the show. Again, let's talk about that experience. Actually, before we do that, very quickly, getting people up to speed. What is the core of your story? By the way, Batman is trademark and copyright DC Comics. There is all rights reserved. This is for educational purposes only. Mike, tell them what you did.
About the story, my story idea.
Yeah, give them the story idea.
Basically, Batman goes. Originally, I was going to have him go back in time, but now I just have him going into a different reality, where his parents are still alive, and there are no other superheroes. So Batman would be the only one. Gotham is still a terrible, terrible place. So he has to make the decision of letting his parents die so he can become that Bruce Wayne can become Batman and help the city, or, just let the Gotham be a cesspool and let things happen as they are.
And so you were planning this as a 3-issue story arc.
As a 3-issue story arc, yes.
And then when we talked about the breakdown, 3 individual issues, 20 pages each. Issue 1 needs to end with a really great cliffhanger. We'll be talking about that tonight. Issue 2 needs to end with an even better cliffhanger. We'll be talking about that again tonight. And then issue 3, you need to leave space for the end of the story. So just to get everybody caught up, in case you're not completely caught up, Hello?
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 It's on?
Hello?
Hello? And then, oh, look, Redheaded Ed. A joke at my expense. She said, sorry, guys, I found the comic book school hard drive, so I formatted it first before I send you the files, right?
I don't get that.
That was because I bought the big hard drive and I put all of my life's work and every comic book school episode and all the Comics Vision episodes. And I was like, well, let me put everything on this brand new hard
Then you
drive.
format
Let
it.
me format it before I do it. And I formatted the original drive, not the source drive.
Well done.
The
Well
source
done.
drive, not the destination drive. Yes. So I've been asking everybody if they have any stuff that I've ever worked on, if I can have it back.
I need it back now.
I need it back. I don't mean to give you something. Take it back. Okay. So today we'll be editing the script. Oh, this will be part of your photo reference. So Mike, vamp for a second while I pull the script up.
Oh, I got a vamp. I had a really, really crazy day. Lots and lots of running around. Not that anybody's interested in this, but which is why I was why I was late today.
Was there anything related to comic book school that we would want to talk about? While I'm pulling the script
No,
up?
absolutely nothing related to comics.
All right.
Nothing.
All right. So Mike, here we have your first issue edited. Now, you mentioned in your notes to me that you use color coding. What's the color coding for?
All the changes are in blue.
All the changes are in blue. So in the very first review of
Doubles.
are you, just like the two of you just go off on your own.
That's a reference to actually Greg and I when we had lunch one time. And it's also a line in the comic, which I kept in because I fixed the timeline. So now In-N-Out Burger can be in here.
Ah, all right. Well, what was it?
I'm so interested, but it was about the robe, right? I missed the robe. I missed the robe too.
Wow. Well, it's a summer. It's a little warm for the robe.
Yeah, can't wear a robe all year.
Yeah. I think the first thing that jumped out at me, you did a great job. You set time and place, time of the day. It helps the artist to know where to lay the shadows. If you're going to have deep daytime shadows or nighttime shadows, all matters greatly. Excellent job setting this up. But
Thank you.
talk to me about what else changed here.
Well, I changed here. If maybe I didn't, I think I might have put the reference in for this. I found a spot in Gotham that is far enough away that we can have this teleportation effect or this jumping reality effect. So the Tri-Corners is like a bottom in the southern part of the Gotham City map. So later on, when Batman gets transported to his new reality and he's in Robinson Park, it'll seem like he just got transported there.
We'll real quick go through here because people know some of the story already. What will this be? So I don't have to keep toggling between slides and Word document.
That is, you wanted a reference for what the portals look like from the Octagon.
Okay.
They look like that, and the tentacles will come shooting out of there. That's a Gotham City skyline.
Okay.
Which later, again, another Gotham City skyline.
Giving them a lot to work with, huh?
Yep. More Gotham City skylines. A map of Gotham City. And you probably can't blow it up, but at the very bottom of that is Tri-Corners, where the action will all start off.
All right.
And then Robinson Park is somewhere in the middle.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
We wanted some good, interesting reference for the clothes that Bruce will find inside the clothing bin drop. And this is all taking place roughly around the 80s. So I found some good, crazy 80s gear that we could have fun putting Bruce in.
I may be actually in one of those photos, Mike. I wore some pretty snazzy clothes from Chess King. And yeah, parachute pants and all.
Yeah. Gotham has In-N-Out Burger, but New Jersey doesn't. Well, New Jersey's missing out.
Fictional places have In-N-Out Burger, and New Jersey still can't get one. Yeah, we do have Sonic, but it's not an In-N-Out Burger.
It is definitely not In-N-Out.
All right, so page 1, page 2 seemed like there wasn't any revisions. Page 3 looks like you were compressing some of the action because if I recall correctly, you were making the dinosaur fall in multiple panels. You did some compressing.
Better.
Yeah,
I squished some panels in, or I compressed them into one panel instead of having 2 or 3, and just made them 3 panels so the artist can spread out some more cool actiony stuff.
So read out Michael Jiff's question.
Does the artist get any say in story edits before penciling?
So it depends. Sometimes the artist will, if you're working with an artist on a regular basis, that artist, or you're working on a project with an artist, you might say, what do you want to draw? And the artist to go, you know what I really want to draw? I really want to draw dinosaurs. And you're like, all right, let's get some dinosaurs in there. And sometimes you have to just say, this is what the story is. But the artist will sometimes be able to see the script in a new way. So let's say, Mike, you're calling for 3 panels on this page, but the artist knows that the art could be better served by actually doing sort of a, look, you see the multiple ghosting of the dinosaur falling and you do it all in one page. Artists might want to do that. Sometimes the artist will say, this is only called for 3 pages, but I always wanted to do a 12 panel grid. I'm going to do that. I think there are times even when the artist will be like, like, let's add this twist to the story or that twist to the story. So the artist definitely is a partner in the story. Traditional mainstream comics, if you're, the writer, you're the writer. But if you're the writer and you want to make it fun for the artist, you should definitely ask them what they want to draw. Yeah. In this case, you're writing this on spec. You don't know who the artist will be, if there will ever be an artist. So you have to be very, very descriptive. So, Michael, yes, you definitely will have input into a story in an it depends scenario, right? It just depends on how you came in. If you're an artist that was just assigned a script and they were like, okay, you're getting paid to do the script, you have this many days to do it, turn it in, you have less influence. If you're on a monthly book or you're on a 3-issue arc like this, you probably have a relationship with Mike, and then you do have some input. So, yeah.
And I think the writers should always be open to suggestions. They may not take them, but instead of just being like, no, it's my way to do it, listen to other people and see what they have to say.
Mike, you're always open to people's suggestions.
I try.
You're a very thoughtful guy. Okay. So made some changes here. Dr. Octagon, who was an audience shout out by Melissa Sassy, who we call Sassy. Sassy, I don't know if Sassy's here tonight. I don't think she was feeling well. She posted something on Facebook that she was not feeling 100%.
Wasn't feeling sassy.
She was not feeling sassy. So you made some changes?
Yeah, I think on page 3 last time is where I had his description and where he shows up. And now page 3, you want to end on the cliffhanger. So instead I just had just the voice from off panel, and then you're wondering who's Octagon, and then you flip the page and you find out who Dr. Octagon is.
Excellent cliffhanger work, Mike. And also here we kind of got off on a tangent, but like, you've given the artist plenty of room with panel 1 to show that giant T-Rex falling. That artist is going to enjoy drawing that. It's going to be a great page. And then panel 2, it'll probably be smaller. And then panel 3 will almost just be like a close-up of Batman, like, turning off panel like that. So you've given the artist a lot to draw. How would you have Batman's face? Show me.
Just like you did it. I was going to ask you if you could,
I'll be photo reference for Batman. Yeah. I'm always typecast as Batman.
Reference.
All right. Now you got a full first introduction to the character. What I think is really good is you've put a lot of thought into how Dr. Octagon will look. You've given a lot of room for interpretation. So really good. Thinking a lot about this. Also, Dr. Octagon proudly. I think that was a good move, because that gives the artist some information about body language. It gives the letter some information about maybe even the font that's going to be used for Dr. Octagon.
Good,
So
good.
nice work there. Good revisions. All right. So we keep going through here. You had a reference. That was the black portal that you talked about. Very, very good. Okay. Once again, the same kind of black portals open on every surface. You got the tentacles. Okay. Once again, this is a completely personal choice. I think they'll figure out that it's 3 panels when they count 1, 2, and 3.
Well, you never know.
Okay. So right around here, it looks like you started making major changes. What happens here around page 8, which is a little less than halfway through?
This was, I added in some more action to extend things so we could stretch the timeline out so I could actually make it to 20. That I would have included more stuff that I didn't like. So I took all that out and I had to extend the action up front.
Okay, so you're battling the villain a little bit longer. Yes.
Yeah, there's doing more, seeing more cool Batman stuff with his grappling hook, this cool stuff that he can do, pull down a billboard on top of some tentacles that are squirming out of the road.
Now, is it intentional that you've left no dialogue or sound effects on panel 1, 2, and 3, or because
well, I didn't even think of that. I just thought the big sound effects. I didn't even think of like the gun going off and the creaking of the billboard.
Yeah, and you've also introduced early on that you're going to have Batman. So let's just go back up here. Over here, Batman does thought balloons here.
Yeah.
Do you carry this throughout, or do you only use this technique one time in the story?
No, there's a couple other thought balloon things.
All right, so you're not using a lot of word balloons or sound effects here.
Yeah, I should do that too.
You probably want to get in there. You want to get in there.
Good editing. Good editing.
Good editing. Okay. So this is a time where you can get into Batman's head if you want. You don't need Batman to state the obvious. Sometimes there's exposition dropped in there that becomes so tedious, or I don't know, you're just saying things to say things. I would prefer if there's nothing to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
That's always been my take on it. You put the sound effects in there are usually good enough.
Yeah. And Batman's actiony. He doesn't talk much anyway.
No, he's kind of grim.
Grim. He's like grim like me.
Okay. So you went to a 6-panel page. It's a lot of panels.
There's a lot of panels here. I changed a few things here. I added in more dialogue for Octagon, giving him some more say in the matter, and to also, do a little exposition on the modifications that he made to the gun. So now we'll later on understand what those modifications actually were.
Is this the Octagon?
The Octagon, yes.
A little typo there, my friend.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay, so
how dare you change my words?
The WGA will hear about this. All right. Now we had our 2-page spread. We went back. We talked a little bit about the 2-page spread. Talk to me about what's happening here. This is from last week's reference, right?
Yeah. And I also changed this. This used to be on page, I think, 8 and 9.
So this is more or less dead center of a 20-page book.
Yeah, right in the middle, a good spread in the middle. And this is where Batman gets caught in the big explosion, where he's being sent to a different reality. And it's him, the reference we saw last time of him, holding his head and all these crazy timelines and all these, planets or whatever spinning around him, which I would be like, hey, artist, go to town, do crazy stuff. Doesn't really matter what's in there as long as it looks cool.
So as a point of reference here, I just want to point something out. So if I were you, I would not deal with the artist in the third person. I would talk to the artist. I would literally, you might even want to say early on in one of the early things, like, artist, I'm not sure who you are, but I want to tell you, have fun with this. It's like a letter to the artist. It should feel personal. You know, you don't want to overwrite the thing so it's super boring, but you do want them to get a feeling for who you are and how they can express this, and get a little bit of detail, because this is a very high concept 2-page spread. It's got a little bit of Doctor Strange. It's you know, it's kind of a really fun place. Let your personality through. Talk directly to the artist.
Should we call him Dave?
I don't think it's necessary. I'm not sure if Dave is the perfect name, but I would just say artist. And you could say, like, I don't know who you are, but artist, this is the time for you to shine, you know?
Okay.
Bring up, like, really bring that person, like, yeah, I loved it. I love working with Mike Fasolo.
Well, who wouldn't?
Okay. Now you've reestablished night, or is this because Batman has now landed in another location?
He's in another location, but it's still the same nighttime. Just wanted to make sure that everybody, it's not like a crazy, he's not like lying in the middle of the desert in the daytime. This is still night, still Gotham City, but just in a different part of it.
All right, read out. What is Seabird saying?
Seabird, hi guys, hope you're both doing well. Reading along as you go, and it looks like fun to draw, but some of the panel descriptions might be 2 actions to draw in one specific panel.
Okay. I'm wondering if Andy Siebert just volunteered to, thumbnail this out for us.
Yeah, we have our artist now. We can just talk directly to Andy. Hey, Andy.
Andy, thank you for volunteering. Mike actually said in the very beginning he was wondering if.
I was hoping. It wasn't wondering. It was hope.
Hope. And Andy, we're so glad that you volunteered. Let's just give Andy a thank you for that. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Andy. That's really nice of you. So we'll send this over to Andy for his stuff. He could do thumbnails.
Andy is regretting getting on now.
Did we answer this question, Mike?
Liz Kiss, hello.
Hello.
Sure. Hello.
Hello. Oh, redheaded Ed clapping for Andy. Well, you're putting him up. Go ahead.
At least I get applause from you guys.
It's true.
You get more than applause. You get praise from us, Andy.
Yeah, and when you see me and Mike, you might want to get penicillin too.
gonna call him Earl from now on.
Call him Earl.
Andy is now named Earl.
So Earl will definitely be here now. So here's the thing, Mike. This is an area that froze me when I was reading it, because I knew what you were doing. Very, very important. And you're going to want to go in here and revise this. You need to be very clear with Andy going forward that you have literally switched him into a different dimension. You're writing description too lean at this point. Now is the time for you to say, Andy, what has happened a moment ago is Batman has moved through a wormhole of some sort and is now in a different dimension. The description you will see will be for where he lands. I'll write it for you. But remember, Batman is now in a different time and in a location, in a place. You want to be really clear with that.
Okay.
All right. Because to me, it's not clear. It's like he could have just woken up in Robinson Park, right? Like, also not completely clear, because you started him at what, Tri-Corners Park?
Yeah.
And now he's in Robinson Park. And I think you need to tell the artist why Batman started in Tri-Corners and has now landed in Robinson Park.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I thought my little note there was at least a start. Enough of that to
it's a touch, but like, this is a major shift in the story. Also, if you switched him from parks, if you just moved him to realities, why did he shift, a couple miles down the road? Why didn't he just stay in Tri-Corner Park?
My reasoning is just because if he stayed in Tri-Corners Park and he shifts to a different reality, it's not going to be the exact same setup. Like, he's not going to see the T-Rex there anymore. And he's
but why didn't he just end up in the water or in China?
I mean, he really could have ended up anywhere, but I just thought Robinson Park is a nice place because it's central to Gotham, and he's going to need to get, clothes and get out of Robinson Park. And that's probably the easiest place to go because there would be more shops and things around there.
All right, it's up to you. As long as you can justify why, it's fine. I would have preferred that you kept them in the same location. Oh, that's from Australia. Hold on.
G'day, mate.
I hope we don't insult an entire nation.
Oh, look at Andy. Oh, Andy.
Andy, that doesn't sound like a full commitment to draw the entire issue.
I'll sketch some.
I'll sketch some.
He's dreading.
Well, what's some, Andy? A page? What are we talking? Every time. Yeah, that's right. You do Australian voice every time.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it.
Okay. So again, this is a step in the right direction, but I think you need to give the artist more. So now again, you got a lot of changes here. Talk to me about the changes that you made. It looks like quite a bit.
This was just adding in more of what's happening in the park. Because you said last time that because I just had like pull out from the park. So, movie terms, you would just see a wider shot. This was kind of changing things. So now the couple is in one panel kind of far away, and now they're right next to where Batman was instead of a pull out shot. And,
okay. All right. So, and then you kept your inside joke with one person.
Yes.
The entire audience, I'm sure.
Someone else will appreciate it. That's all that counts, as long as somebody does.
Okay. This remained the same. This is where Batman is starting to test all of his electronic devices. That's cool.
This is
brand new, right?
Everything changes.
Okay, go.
This is, instead of, I just had him kind of a general, he runs out of the park with a few little things. Yeah. Now there's specifics of what he's doing. Like he's trying to figure, can he get in touch with Alfred? That communication is clearly not working, as you can see from Scree. That's an electronic work. So now he has to figure out how to get out of Robinson Park, and we're also going to see it from his point of view of what he sees throughout the park, knowing he can plot his way out of it without being seen by anybody.
Very good. Very good. Now you have a couple of police officers making their rounds.
Yeah, because that's what cops do. They make their rounds in the park.
Picked up from your day as a police officer.
Yes, my many days as a police officer. And this is just, little fun little things I thought of him, in the shadows behind the sculptures as people are walking by, up in the trees where a cop's walking right under him. And then we can see that he's at the edge of the park looking towards a strip mall where he knows, oh, I can get some clothes over there.
All right, so there's 3 panels is a lot for this. It's almost stretched to some degree. If that's what you want, I mean, that's cool. There's just not a lot happening. It's just kind of Batman hiding, I guess.
Yeah, just cool. I thought fun little Batman stuff. Shiny things. You see his eyes glowing.
All right. Okay, that's fine. That's good intentions. All right. So you did answer the question of whether they had clothing drop boxes.
I did. Yes, I looked that up. They started in, I think, like 1968 or something like that. Very
good. Is that where you shop?
That's where I get all my clothes.
Say it in Jared's voice.
Don't worry. You didn't insult the whole nation. Our breakdance team is.
Wow. For the win. Well played. Well played, Jared Elvin. I hope that Jared is like 6'9" and he comes and he just snaps both of us in half.
One after the other.
He snaps you. You're easy to snap. He just kind of keeps bending me like a phone book.
Oh, is that because the accent was so good?
It was so good.
Because it was so bad?
It was so good.
I would say because it was so good.
I would agree. It was so good.
It sounded awesome in my head.
In your head, it sounds dead on. Okay. Page 18. We're getting close. Now, if we want to remind people, if page 20, let's pull this up because I think it's really important to show this. So you're on page 18. And showing again the slides. So this was from.
Oh, that's good. Look at Glenn. Look what Glenn did. Wouldn't he have to be 6'10" full of muscles? That's only if he's from Brussels, though. That's from the Men at Work song.
Is it? Oh, 6'10" and full of muscles.
Land Down Under.
So
Yeah.
Glenn Gattilla's a pretty big dude. We should hide behind Gattilla. Gattilla had a hunch in so I could get my head in the photo. Okay, so where we are here is right about here. So in a 20-page comic, which is about your average for a mainstream comic, you're here at 18, and you want your big reveal to be on 20. And I read your big reveal, which was good. It came out good. But you're already beginning your setup here on a left hand, right hand, and then left hand.
Yeah. And the big thing that I took out the part with Jim Gordon, because that to me gave away some of what I wanted to be in the big reveal.
Well, sure. And then in a way, it kind of muddies it up a little bit, because then Gordon gives a specific time and placement based on his age and relationship. Yeah. So now we're on 18. You're heading toward the big reveal. Talk to me about what you changed here to make this reveal have more impact.
Well, I got more thought balloons in. So Batman's now trying to figure out, what he has to do. He knows that now the Octagon did something else. It wasn't just opening portals. It actually transported him somewhere or halfway.
No, I would move this dialogue up to where, when he wakes up, why am I in Robinson Park? I think it's not obvious to the reader that they were like, oh, he was in Tricorners, now he's in Robinson Park. You're going for the ride. Okay. It seems like something you might want to reinforce.
Okay. Could have been, Robinson Park. Why am I here?
Why am I here?
The EMP knocking his satellite links out, which again is not just knocked him out, but they don't exist anymore because he doesn't have communications with his satellite.
So is he in a different dimension, or is it a different time?
He's in a different reality and a different time. It's basically the same Gotham with all the same stuff or generally the same stuff that's going to happen, but it's just at a different timeline than what he originally went through.
So he's in a backwards timeline.
Yes, sort of. Like his stuff, the original Batman stuff happened in the 60s, where his parents were killed. Now it's in this reality, it's the 80s, but it's the same things that are going to happen. It's just in a later point in time.
Okay. All right. So he hails a cab. Has he got
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you. Thank you. He put it in writing.
We'll have to screenshot that. Just
like you said you wouldn't snap us in half. All right, so we're page 19 now. All new, all fresh. Yep. Now, when you got to this point, because you were, you realized with the first plot, were you more confident writing page 19 now?
Yes. Well, I actually wrote the big cliffhanger, page 20, and then I scripted the 2 pages before that kind of backwards to fit into what needed to be done.
All right. So what is the question here?
Is there any consideration of how long a comic should take to read? Is there a word count that the writer should try to hit? I don't think so.
So I was taught that you should have no more than 14 elements on a page. And not to sound crass, but Glenn Herdling said that the average comic book should be a good bull ride.
Yeah.
Means you can read it in a single sitting. The word is sitting, everybody.
If you have enough fiber.
If you've had enough fiber. So, comic book is, roughly the equivalent of 1 page in a comic, can often be equated to 1 minute in a screenplay, but we can stretch it and we can compress it. But it depends on how you write. Like people like Warren Ellis. If you read a Warren Ellis comic, sometimes you'll just be flipping through pages like breezing. He's almost manga style, where he's decompressed things so much, but it works. And then you have other writers, and Alan Moore, where it's really dense. You have to read every word, and you have to look at all the objects in the background. So one might take you 10 or 12 minutes. The other might take you 45 minutes. I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. You could put a lot of thought into how you control that experience.
Carbon, oxygen, and argon, and other things on my page. I don't understand that.
Did he have another? There are plenty of things he could do. All right. Well.
Okay.
Oh, the elements on my page. Hmm. Glenn, that was dad joke
That was
quality. Glad we played along, but whew. Okay. All right. So cab's pulling up to Wayne Manor. He's told the cabbie it's Wayne Manor. He's heading to Wayne Manor. Go ahead, Mike.
Yep. He gets out of the cab. He's like, "Hey, my wallet's inside. I'll be right back." Because he figures, oh, he's all he got to do is knock, and Alfred will be there. And he gets to the door, and from the door kind of opens a little crack. It's starting to open, and from inside he hears Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne talking. And
so you know, like you set it up here, panel 4. They're at the right hand bottom of the page. They're like, Martha and Thomas, no way. And they've got to flip that last page, and you give them the payoff.
Yeah, that's when the door opens. You see Martha and Thomas Wayne, who are now roughly Bruce's age, and Alfred, who is much younger.
So just as a quick, this is a little bit of a lean description. What are their expressions and body languages? I would imagine that Thomas and Martha and Alfred have no idea who this is, right?
They have no idea who it is. They're just, it would just be like they, a little surprised. They open the door and there's someone standing there.
Yeah, like I might have Thomas say, Alfred, do you know this man? Mr. Wayne, do you know this man? And
see, I would do that on the first page of the next issue.
But right now you have no dialogue. Is that how you want it to end?
I think that's a good just like kind of facial expression thing.
But whose face are you showing? Like,
well,
if there's two people, what's the angle of how would the artist draw this?
Thinking about it, I would say it would be seen from like just inside the door, so you can see Martha and Thomas and Alfred, and you can also see Bruce as he's outside the door.
All right, so your job now is to sketch out how you would make that shot work, like, because you're asking a lot of the artist, and maybe this is the one time that you put in a thumbnail sketch. And I could see what you're saying, like you're kind of looking down the funnel of the hallway. You've got Alfred, you've got Martha, you've got Thomas, and then framed out in the doorway, you've got Bruce. Cool shot. I bet that's hard to draw.
I bet Andy could tell us.
If that is drawable or not. And I Andy did say that he wanted us to send him the script, which I'm happy to do, Andy. I mean, I don't know why you can't just watch the YouTube video, but I will send you the Word document. Just make sure that this is drawable.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways you could take this.
It's one of those things that I can see it in my head, but I also do that when I'm like writing a script. I see how it can look awesome, but might be impossible to do when someone's actually filming it.
All right, hold on.
Outside the door from behind Bruce, so you see his back and see the face. That's another way to go, but I also kind of wanted Bruce's shocked expression at seeing his parents.
Right. I think what you have to do is find the panel. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I should have gotten some reference. That's what I should have done.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull this up.
I should have also had little Bruce in there somewhere.
All right, real quick, I'm going to pull this up because I think one of the ways to show this is share screen. I'm going to say, I saw it a little bit like this. Right. This is where Bruce is. You see the Parker.
Yeah, that's what
that's the reaction. But this is how in order to get, Mary Jane to work in this particular image, you see how you have to have Peter. Now, can you get 3 people unless you pull that camera all the way back?
Well, see, I don't know who the lady is in that, but if you had the camera sort of between her and Mary Jane looking at all 3, you can get all 3 of them in.
Right. So I would stick figure out what you're looking for, especially if you think you have something well in mind. I think that's a good opportunity to do that.
Let's see. Even from behind at this point, we know it's Bruce in weird clothes, but to introduce his parents and Alfred would be good to show them in front with their faces. Yes.
Yeah, but so they will have no reaction. He is just a stranger knocking at the door. So the reaction is really Bruce's reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also do need to see them to know who they are. And
well, I mean,
that
you've
they're
established
is-
Wayne Manor. You've established Martha and
Uh-oh.
Thomas. You've maybe even established.
I think Buddy.
What? Am I gone?
You were gone for a second, or was that me?
Am I on? No, I can still
Oh,
hear
yeah.
you.
I can still hear you. Let's see. Greg said you could have word balloons for the Waynes.
Yeah.
Redheaded Ed agrees with Jared, trying to show all of them. You have to get really weird angle. I think I'll see. You need to see the Waynes to know that it's.
Yeah. What's his surprise? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like the shock is he's seeing his parents alive.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I see this from inside the house, down a long hallway, Alfred, Martha, Thomas, and then Bruce in the, filling the doorway, in the crazy clothes. But like, I think the key thing is thumbnail that out so that you're able to do. And if that's not the shot you have in your mind, make sure you put enough description.
They could be going, hello.
Hello, Martha, who's at the door.
Hello.
Anyway, Mike, great job on this. I think, the revisions were good. We're going to just need a little bit more tweaking against this. And I think, next issue, bam, the Wayne. So I think, Mike, next week when we do come back, I think what we'd like to see is what you do in 2 and 3. Right? Just in macro sense, not plot breakdowns, just what happens in issue 2, Capsule, what happens in issue 3, Capsule, but also being very aware of a great cliffhanger at the end of issue 2. Another, it's easy to buy issue number 1. Everybody buys issue number 1, right? You got to get them to buy 2 and 3 and then complete the series.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling? Do you feel more confident about 2 and 3 now? Do you feel like you know what you want to do?
I kind of know the general story, but I haven't really, as you would say, plotted things out. It's more of...
Well, now I wouldn't plot like this. I would just do story capsules about what you would do in 2 and 3 to help people to understand where an Emmy award-winning writer would take this. Oops.
I will definitely do that. I have a general idea. I just have to break it down a little bit more.
All right. So, that's it, Mike. That's the editing portion. We hope that everybody's enjoying the show, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope they're learning from their writing. We're glad that Andy has volunteered to draw this out completely.
They will probably release Alfred on him.
Or will they take him in? Interesting. Not to ask for spoilers or anything. So, Mike, people will see us next week. Next week is Labor Day weekend. And then, but we will be back on Tuesday for another episode of Comic Book School Live. Be sure to leave your comments if you like the show. Give it a like and tell some friends to subscribe as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Good night, everybody.